always fun to come out here. It's a Christmas morning for Jason, and
yes, indeed.
Someone texted that Jason sounds like a kid in a candy store.
Mm-hmm.
So
that's how I feel.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that's
Speaking of candy, I know our next guest. I had a little something to say about that. He has a story.
He doesn't look like somebody named Candy.
Well, no. He
Candy.
He gave candy away to a lot of people.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, it's Bill Anello.
Bill Anello. We're talking to.
On one of his clothes.
Go ahead, Jason. Talk to Bill.
Well, Bill, first of all, congratulations on your induction into the Florida Boxing Hall of Fame. And we're just talking a little bit off the air, and you've been around the sport a long time, but you started out one way. I think is reporting. Was that correct?
I started in the boxing field as a volunteer inspector.
Okay.
I worked. It's when everybody left the commission and went over to Miccosukee.
Mm-hmm.
And I went to a show one time, actually, as a reporter. They needed help, so I volunteered to help in the back, watching the wraps.
And I was going to say, for those who are not as familiar, the inspector, they're making sure everyone is abiding by the rules. Fighters, you're wrapping their hands, making sure there's no funny business going on with the illegal hand wraps.
Right?
Shenanigans, yeah, good word to report it.
I did catch a couple things as a volunteer.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I walked up to one fighter, it smelled like he was eating a salad. Turned out they were using vinegar to make him smell it, make him wake up. And the next thing I caught was somebody had ammonia capsules to take out into the ring.
Oh, geez. They try every trick in the book.
If their fighter was in trouble, they'd give him some ammonia.
Well, there was one famous case of Panama Lewis, I think, in the Aaron Pryor Alexis Arguello fight, when he gave him something was in the bottle, and you hear him saying, give me that bottle, the one that I mixed. And clearly, in Pryor, who was in big trouble, in danger of getting knocked out, suddenly, it was like the fight just started again for him. So I know they could get every trick in the book.
Also, another thing with the inside the ring, when a fighter comes to the corner, they always give them something to drink.
Right.
Well, one time I caught coffee. The bottle was wrapped so you couldn't see what was in it. They were giving the guy coffee to drink in between the rounds.
It's like when you wake up. You got to wake up.
It's Red Bull nowadays.
Especially
Red Bull, I know.
Especially that Cuban coffee.
Cafe con leche.
Very strong and very
Espresso,
powerful.
Espresso, yeah.
So
that's something. But of course, and you say from the inspector, you also then became a timekeeper at the bell, at the ring, which keeping track of the time for the rounds, ringing the bell.
Well, after 4 years as a timekeeper, or as an inspector, I had a heart attack. I didn't tell the state, but I got hit by a police car, and because the fire rescue took me to the hospital. They found out that I had the heart attack. So they came up to me one day and says, "You're no longer an inspector. You're a timekeeper." What does the timekeeper do?
Keeps time, I would think.
Rings a bell.
They didn't tell me that.
Yeah.
And while the fight was going on, they said, "Oh, by the way, you're also the knockdown referee."
Yeah.
What's a knockdown referee?
Yeah, now, initially when you hear that, you think it's a referee who gets hit by a punch and gets knocked down. But no, the knockdown referee, that's the one when a fighter goes down, the referee at first has to get one fighter to the neutral corner.
Right.
So the knockdown referee picks up the count immediately when the fighter hits the canvas, and that's when the referee will turn to you to see what they're at, if it's at 4, 5, 6, however,
and that's it.
To pick up the count.
And you just don't stop counting. You keep the count up with the referee.
Yes.
And this way here, if he has to stop it again.
Which was a tougher job, inspector or timekeeper?
I would say an inspector is a very hard job.
You got to watch for
the
salads.
You got to watch the fighters. You got to watch the rap. You got to pay attention to everything that's going on in the corner.
And of course, and there's another. I've been involved. Some of the inspectors here, when they'll tell a fighter, "Listen, if you leave that room after the rap, we're going to cut it off and do the whole thing over again," because there's always a chance. Even if they use to use the restroom or anything else, they could try. To mess with that rap.
I have cut the rap off.
Yeah.
Have you ever disqualified Have you ever disqualified a fighter and said you can't go out?
I can't do that. I would have to call the referee and.
But have they been disqualified based on what you did?
So
Wow.
It all depends, I think, on how
Yeah.
serious the
That's an
allegation
eye-opener.
is.
Uh, I can holler to the referee time, and then he would come over and I would tell him what I found.
Right.
And they'd go on from that. But being a timekeeper, you need quite a few eyes.
Sure.
You have to watch the fighter. Most important, watch the referee,
Yes.
because he may want to call time.
Call time to either warn the fighters, pick up the mouthpiece, put it back
Right.
in, things like that.
And-
Yeah, so you always got to keep track of the time because you could lose it
Right.
very easily. Then you don't know how much time is left in the round.
Because then we also have to watch the clock.
Yes.
So I'm watching 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
Now there's another thing people don't realize. How many people in the audience want to be a timekeeper? I've had them come up, try to grab the hammer and ring the bell in the middle of a fight.
So it might have been the promoter for the one fighter who was in trouble.
That
Like,
could
get the hit the bell and let's get
Right.
back to the corner. Let's regroup.
I had one come that close to ringing the bell.
That's
I
amazing.
grabbed his hand
Yeah.
and knocked down the referee next to me. He helped. Because,
amazing.
I mean,
You wouldn't think about it, but I think boxing is one of those sports where truly when you think you've seen it all, you haven't.
No,
There's
you do
plenty
not.
of other things going on.
right. There are so many things going around on ringside
Yes.
that it boggles the mind if you don't keep it straight.
Right.
And another thing is, I've got to thank Bob Alexander, the announcer.
Longtime wonderful announcer, a Hall of Fame inductee as well.
Right. He's the guy that gave me my name, Candyman.
How about that?
And
Well, very appropriate.
it was very strange because I always had candy in front of me on a table. I had a cooler full of water behind me on ice. Anybody can come up and help themselves. If the referee needed a towel, I'd open my briefcase and there was towels. If he needed
You were
a
like
pen,
your own catering truck.
just about. It was like Felix the Cat with his bag of tricks. If you ever remember that.
You bet you had to hide that bag, whenever you went somewhere, make sure no one knew where it was, because if they knew what was in it,
Yeah,
it might
just
might be
about.
empty. So.
But I've had rolls of tape. I had magic markers. You name it, I had it in there.
Right.
So-
Bill, we want to thank you for coming by. Some great stories, and you never know what's going on in the corners, but now after hearing you, we know a little more about
Right.
Yes.
what's
There's
going
a
on.
lot going on.
Yes, absolutely.
Thank
Thanks
you
so
so
much for
much.
coming
Okay.
by.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Congratulations.